I think it's working. Welcome, YouTube pipe smokers. I'm smoking, I'm about to smoke a CAO cherry bomb cigar. And we got to do a shout out here right away to Papa Bear's Nook. You got to check out his channel. He did his live tonight, which was good timing because I had to postpone mine for an hour. And I just got done with what I was doing. So he got to fill in that hour and enjoy his live, and it was a good time. But check out his channel. He's a generous dude, and we need to get him up there in subs. Hello, Donnie. I like this sucker. Now it's nobody's here. Oh man, if I could get him like that every time, bud. As I'm No, I don't know that. As I'm bumping stuff with my toe. Pipe Ninja. Hey, it's good to see you again. How you doing, Cliff? How you feeling, buddy? Oh, while you're here, let me double check that I subbed you. I thought I did the other night, but then I couldn't remember what I was doing. So I want to make sure. Oh, there we go. I will make a shout out video for you, Cliff. I understand it, it's hard to get your stuff back. You've had people that may be subbed and then they're doing other stuff, but they kept subbed, and I'm sure it's hard to get it back. But we'll help you. CAO Cherry Bomb cigar, hillbilly. Long day working on soldiers all day. Almost home. Well, thank you, bud. Thank you for helping people. Mabu and I were joking one evening. You remember I think we were in a live or in a Google Meet or something. I must have been alive. And I was complaining about buying the dentist car. And I said, no, you're cool. You go, yeah, those dentists or something like that. And I'm like, no, you're okay, Cliff. It was just this dentist. But I always appreciate people that do that help out, especially veterans or people still serving. I think that's fantastic. But yeah, it's a very temporary, disgust, labeled the dentist, but it's always at the bill. It's there's never any anger. And you are a dentist who I feel deserves more money. Did you have to travel pretty far? Have you been coming back home for a couple days, or is it kind of a one-day shot, plane or no plane? You can answer whatever you want to answer. I'm not gonna push you for too many details, because I know there may be some things you don't want to tell everybody. Like, oh, I got off this flight at this time. Oh, 2 hours drive. Okay. That's nice, though. I mean, I bet it was a long day, nonetheless. But at least it isn't a long journey there and back, and then the work. 2 hours is plenty. That's comfortable, barely. That'd be the way I'd label it. when I was a kid, my parents and I went lots of different places. And there were a couple years we didn't go anywhere during farming season because harvest time is harvest time, period. You are there. And if my dad had to be there, the weather was still good, then we were harvesting, and that's the way it is. But most of the time we got to go on a trip. And I remember thinking back to when I was a kid, a place that was like 2 hours away felt like forever when you're a kid. And now when you go like 6 to 8 hours, that's how that hour and a half or 2 hours felt when I was a kid. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that is nice, Hillbilly. That's cool. That's really cool, man. See, I grew up on a farm too. It wasn't rice, soybean. At one point, my dad, if I recall right, got to work with cotton, but it was when he was maybe little. I think he said his uncle or great uncle or somebody had a cotton farm or something like that he went and stayed with in summers or something like that. I know it was some much older relative. Cloud Bear, how you doing, buddy? But my mom's dad and my dad's dad had sheep. They had hogs at one point, cattle, some horses, just to have, just for utility. Especially my mom's dad was, both of them were awesome in their own right. There's no favorite. They were just, here's one and here's the other. But my mom's dad had Clydesdale and what were the other horses? Something ons. Can't think of the name of them right now, but they were huge. Their back was like 6 feet high. And they'd pull. We had those old-timey hay carts, like the big wide ones with the hay hanging over, like in the older movies. He had those. So we got to ride on that. And when you're like 5, riding up on that with 14 feet off the ground, and you're just bouncing on the hay, it's like, what's going to happen? It was awesome. I miss him. He's been gone a long, long time, but I miss him. My other grandpa's been gone 15 years, and that grandpa's been gone 24 years, I want to say. Awesome people. We need more of them. More of them, like you fellas. But I do appreciate that a lot, Pipe Ninja. It's so weird for me to call you Pipe Ninja, just because I'm so used to saying Cliff. Thank you, though, man. Truly. Anybody on here, please check out and sub Pipe Ninja. His channel's easy to find. I put in Pipe Ninja and actually brought it right up. Oh, nice. I'm glad you made it safe. You never know what can happen in a 2-hour trip, so I'm really not kidding. I'm glad you made it safe. Have a well-earned great night's sleep, buddy. I appreciate you joining in for a bit. Hope you keep feeling better and doing well. All the best to you, man. Thank you, Cloud Bear. I appreciate it. Trying to get your channel back, I would imagine, would be frustrating. I don't want to do that. I hope I never have to. I resubbed him. I couldn't remember if I did sub him at that time when I saw he was Pipe Ninja. I really think I did. But I could just be remembering I was going to and then forgot what I was doing and forgot the whole thing the next day, because that happens. I really like to think that I did sub him that day, but I just can't confirm it. My memory is like a shoe. What's it doing over there? See, it doesn't make sense. See, last time I saw a dentist, he left me like that. No teeth. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Well, and you do, you never know. They're always involved in more than people think. And that I know it sounds like a conspiracy, but I don't mean it in a conspiracy kind of way. They're always involved in other stuff that you or I may not think about. Like the whole thing with cookies, where things are getting on, which have been around forever, trying to go out and get information from your computer. But you might be right, because then they can put a statistic saying more people have been entering searches this month than any other month in the last 2 years. Who knows what they're going to use it for? It's all recorded. But I know it unsubbed me from a few people just the last month. Makes it frustrating when you're trying to keep up on videos and you hit the subscriptions button and you're like, isn't there something I'm missing? Because I have a hard time remembering days. I do pretty good at remembering that Mike is doing something on Fridays on here. Cloud Bear, Papa Bear's Nook is usually on, and Saturday is Chris and then I. Sometimes there's something going on earlier in Saturday, so when I get a chance, I try to pop in online and see. Sunday we have Steve and Kathy again, thank goodness. Oh yeah, could be. Sunday is also morning prayer with the Recovering Know-It-All. So Sunday's nice and chill. Somebody's on Monday, I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. Then we got Tumultuous Tuesday. Boy, what words are coming out of my mouth. Then we usually have something on again Wednesday. I think I want to say it's Mike, and then I want to say I always mix these up with Martin at Over a Pipe, which 2 days. I always mix them up. But I know he does his Friday as well. And then Thursday's kind of, there's somebody's I'm sure going on that I miss a lot. And then we have National Mafia, I think, is Thursday. So, Hey, Paul. Good to see you again, buddy. This is that CAO Cherry Bomb cigar. Very good. I wish it'd slow down on the smoke a little, but it's really not too bad when you kind of want to get to a pipe to have a cigar that smokes quickly. None of these are even close to the quality and flavor of the ones Hillbilly has sent me, but they're good. Most people could like them. They're better than I expected of them to begin with, but man, I've been spoiled rotten. Monday and Friday. Monday. I always want to say it's Wednesday and Friday. I don't know why. Eddie Gray is Wednesday, or was Wednesday. I haven't seen his for a while. I usually end up missing his often, and I hate missing it. Let's do the bull call groundhog. What are you smoking, and what are you smoking it in, and what were you smoking before, and what are you going to smoke next? And Phil honorarily says, "What's up?" I think I got his picture. I do. See, there he is. It's like he's here with us. Monday and Friday. I mixed that up so much. I feel like there's something going on Monday, and then I just get it. Oh, see, I already, yeah. Okay, Nashville Mafia is Wednesday. Okay. Because Eddie Gray at the Pipe Nooks Wednesday, or he was. It's been a while. Wednesday. Why do I think there? See, I don't do good with days. Yeah. See, that made my whole point right there. I don't do good memorizing days. So that's why I need this to leave my stuff subscribed to, so I can look at that and check everybody's out. But on a great note, I completed Joel's pipe, and it is awesome. And I love the stem. I did something different with it a little bit than I usually do with stems, but it's nothing crazy. Just a little bit different idea. And my goodness, it is a comfortable pipe. Everything fits comfortably. The hand feel and the shape of the bit are two of my favorites. Excellent. Crazy Horse and a Meerschaum. Very nice. Hey, RD, welcome in, brother. Yeah, that cigar looked awesome. That's my word of the day, I guess. Awesome. It looked really, really good, Paul. Oh, no way. That's fantastic. I know he was fighting with that for a while. And I know he talked about not carrying it. And then carrier or suppliers were dropping him or something, and it was a bunch of nonsense. I think people got scared and they need a spine so people like Eddie can keep doing okay. My personal opinion. I hate when people give in to stuff they know better. Patrick, good to see you, bud. I'm smoking a CAO Cherry Bomb cigar. Which one is Crazy Horse? Is that one of your blends? Cloud Bear? I can't remember. I remember you talking about it. I can't remember if you were talking about it because it was one of yours, or if I'm just, my mind's mixing it with one that was another blending houses. Excellent. That was pretty good age on there too. I think the oldest cigar I had was, well, there's some I have that are aged more now that I haven't smoked, but they're for special occasions. But I had a 6-year one, I believe, from Hillbilly, maybe an 8. There was one that was pretty dang old before this last bundle. Okay. I do really like that name. Whenever you say Crazy Horse, I think of my Dark Horse blend, which is very, very strong. It's not as strong as the Scorched Sahara throat punch. Should change that name to like tonsil knocker. That sounds funny. Tonsil knocker. It's the only blend I know that if you smoke it in a, nose warmer and you overdraw that, oh yeah, you feel it to your tonsil, but it's still really good. Tennessee Hillbilly, good to see you, buddy. Ah, that's the one with Rustica. Okay. Gonna try Haunted Bookshop Cake. Oh, have you had it yet, RD? And do you mean one that you pressed out of original Haunted Bookshop, or do you mean you bought it as Haunted Bookshop Cake, the new stuff? You reminded me, I need to get some seeds out. Actually, I need to message a couple of people because I still have some Rustica seeds. Now, Rustica would make Dark Horse it'd still be as good, I think. It'd make it tasty. It'd still be just as strong, possibly stronger, but I don't know. How you doing, Jeff? Man, Hillbilly, this is nice, but man, it is not smooth quite like the ones I've had from you, buddy. Smarty Bob, I'm glad you made it, bud. Paul, you might try pressing on your own the original. It's fantastic. Donnie did it. I believe his was 6 months aged Haunted Bookshop original, and he pressed it for a month. It is awesome. It is really good. Even just the original. Yeah, I've had people on Saturdays. I've had people asking me that too. I'm not the only one mixing Saturdays up with Tuesdays, I guess. Yeah, they said, I thought you meant live like a Google Meet. I'm like, no, that's not the live. This is the live. Of course, you hear live all the time. And it gets confusing because it might be a live chat or live video. No, the Google Meet will be Tuesday. I used to do a Google Meet Tuesday followed by a live, but then the hours were unpredictable. So if I did a 1 hour, I'd either have to cut short the Google Meet or postpone the live. So it was hard for people to really know exactly when it was going to start. Oh, I do? Maybe it came up later, but yeah, I didn't even make a video today. That's weird. Well, thank you for telling me. I think something's going a little funky with YouTube, to be honest. Huh. I don't know why. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Cloud Bear. Oh, I'm glad you are here, Bob. It's good to see you, buddy. Hey, Troy, good to have you, bud. Yeah. You guys are reminding me I don't know how much these are now. When I got them, they were like 15. And I put wax paper in the bottom anyway to plug the holes. And then when I do press a blend, I put another layer and roll a paper like a funnel, put the tobacco in and push it down along the edges. And it's just, what is that paper called? I don't think it's wax paper. It's parchment paper. And press it, give it a crank every bit. I'm aging something if it survives the aging. It's so good I don't want it to, but I'm going to press it tomorrow, I think. I got 2 of these, and they're fantastic. Google meat tastes like chicken. Yeah, parchment. It's so easy to do. And then when I put the amount down to where I'm going to close the lid, then I fold it down. I cut off the top, fold it down, crank, do all that stuff, and leave it. You can leave it for. Oh yeah, I've heard of doing that too. I'm glad you mentioned that, Paul. That is a viable option as well. I usually press them. It depends on the blend. Some blends you can press for 2-3 weeks and it's fine. Other ones do better with more time. If it's 2 or 3 weeks and you're putting pressure on them all the time, a couple times a day, tightening them, and you're there more, I would recommend a month, but it's personal taste. Usually if I'm going to just blend something that I want to smoke sooner, then I'll just press it for me sooner. But this other stuff that's got Burley's, I got a couple of no-name blends that I just made just the other day. And this one is so good. I wasn't going to try it at all, and I thought, what am I doing? I did blend it first. I didn't try it during the blending, just finished. So I did the video. I said, I'm going to try this, blend it, call it good, and age it for a month, and then put it in a press for a month. And then I'm like, well, I should try a bowl. And then I put some in a tin. And then I smoked it for like 3 days straight. So it's still in the jar. I just had to make my own sample. It was good. I knew what I was doing with that one. But for the components, I'm very surprised how well it's going, and it's not bitey. It's a lot like this one. C&D House Reserve. The components you would think bite. If you blend, you would think these could really bite, and they don't. They did a good job on that. And then I did a good job on mine. And life is good. I guess technically I don't know. I like to say a puck because the shape it comes out as from the pasta press. I don't think it's really I was going to say, I don't think it's really a block. Pressing it would be a plug. I think a block is when they do it a certain way and then chop it. Something like that. Or they might just, I don't know. It might be 2 different terms for the same thing for some way. I just don't know. I'm getting to the end of this little cigar. Here we go, hillbilly. A cigar on a stick. Yeah, exactly. Nice, Paul. Yeah, more like a puck. It's really cool because it will come out and they fit in the regular sized jar lids. So I want to make a bunch of little pucks and then put them in a jar. And then when I want one, take them out, put them in an empty tin that I'm going to carry with myself and do that. But Haunted Bookshop, the original, pressed like that is awesome. So much better than I expected. I like it way more than the original Haunted Bookshop. It's just smoother, less likelihood you're going to get a bite, nice flavor. There's just any harshnesses whatsoever for people just seem to really all be smoothed out. I think I was starting to singe mustache hairs. I don't know. I heard crackling. I'm going to just say it wasn't that. Yeah. Hey, Todd, how you doing, brother? Yeah. That's as short as I can get it. It's not the same. Although that does make me want to do this to some of these cigar bits that I saved. Because those were really good, but I will burn my mustache. I know better than that, kind of, a little bit, sometimes. Yeah, I'd finish them off in the pipe. I need to do that again. I've got a couple of pipes that are excellent for finishing cigars off in. One of those is an olive wood pipe from Olive Wood Piper. And this one was a cigar. I don't know what it was. It was a great cigar. It was one from Hillbilly. But it just didn't want to keep burning. I think it just got damp. I relit it a lot. It was a great cigar. So I think I'm just going to do a bowl of cigar. But it was very tasty. I relit it a bunch because I was talking while I was using it and trying to do shop stuff. And it was really, really too good to not, to just leave. See if I can get away with this without roasting my mustache. Maybe. Close. Like to get a start on it. This one isn't as snug fitting as some of them. It's trying. I'm asking a lot. I know I am. Fingers are all over the keyboard. You're doing really good, though. You're typing, and you can type, and I can read, and I can't always read, and you can't always type. So, it's a pretty good evening for both of us. Not the same. I'm doing something wrong. Do I have a fatter cigar or a narrower pipe? I do have a narrower pipe. Oh, right there. There we go, Donnie. Can't let a good cigar go to waste. Oh, wow. I got you, RD. I've got a bunch of these like this. I don't know why I just didn't do it again. Do it more. I've got probably 10 or 12, a little bit smaller than this, and I miss them. So damn good, it's unreal. You spoiled the heck out of me, man, I'm telling you. This one's got Kentucky in it, that's for certain. Ooh, I picked a good one. she's actually dozed off, but so on our stove, you have, if you're facing this way, you have the back right, the back left, the front right, the front left. The front right one, which is the bigger one, if you turn it to 4, it really does a good job slowly warming up. And lately it's been doing it slower and slower. And then after a while, you turn it up to 5, which is supposed to be medium, and it'll still be going slowly. And then all of a sudden it'll just go, oh, it's time to kick it up a notch and bring it up to boiling. And you're like, what? And I started on 5 because I was trying to hurry. But I expected it to still take a little time for getting. And it went straight to boiling after 5 minutes. But they were actually really good. They turned out awesome. We probably can, Donnie. I'll let you know. Because I'm going to have people coming over tomorrow, so I don't know when I'll have time. But I'd love to join you for a smoke with that. Thanks, Patrick. Oh man, Bob. I don't get a long ghosting in Certain pipes. Yeah. I just don't know how long anybody's going to be here tomorrow. I know they're coming by in the morning. So that's why we're cleaning this evening so we don't have to worry about it. And I don't know how long they're staying. If we got to do one tomorrow night, I'm fine with that. If it's got to be a little bit later, that's okay with you. I am. I just don't know how long they'll be. So while they're here, we'll give them a tour of the place, go for a walk. It's supposed to be nice tomorrow. But it may just, how family visits go sometimes. They may be here through supper. I just don't know. But if not, I will definitely have time. Definitely have time Monday too. So whatever works for you, buddy. Yeah, Patrick knows his cigars. Oh, aren't those awesome though in a way? Smarty Bob, that's really cool though. See, ours doesn't do, you do the setting still manually, and then it heats and slows down for a while. But that one burner does that. The other three don't do that. But we will definitely be in touch, Hillbilly. I'll try to tomorrow. I just don't have any idea when they'll go. I don't know. But that would be a good way. If they were family I didn't agree with, it'd be really fun to be like, hey, you guys, you got to go. Okay. I got a very important meeting. I'll be like, oh, he knows somebody. And it's just me smoking a pipe with Hillbilly. They don't need to know that. Or I'll tell them anyway. Yeah. But we'll be in touch. Either way. Where did I set my... Thought I had water over here. I accidentally inhaled a little bit, I think. I'm getting a heartburny sensation. I don't usually ever get that, ever. After it did its job, it was shut down. Yeah. Gaslight, if you guys haven't pressed Gaslight, that's pretty dang good too. Yeah, I'd say if it had to do with security, it should have been done. But I won't turn this we won't go into that. This is a positive thing. Gaslight's nice because it doesn't change. It's a lot like Mordor. If you compared Mordor to Mordor pressed, it's a little better pressed, but it's not a huge difference. It still keeps the main flavor. That's how Gaslight is. It keeps the main flavor. I would say there's more change in Haunted Bookshop Original to pressed Haunted Bookshop Original, but it's all positive. But it's the same thing. It's all positive. It's just there isn't a huge difference. Now, if it were to be pressed and jarred for like a year, I don't know. I bet that'd be pretty dang good. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah. So I'll give you a quick run through. Okay. Yep. Spaghetti press. With parchment paper. So I always cut out a ring or two and put it in the bottom. Oh, thank you, Paul. That's been my most popular so far. It could be. If you age it first a little bit, it's going to be better pressed than fresh. Seems like it ages nicely at just a different kind of pace. And then once it's been pressed, I think the longest I pressed one was 2 months. And then, or maybe 3 because I forgot about it. Anyway, so I take parchment paper in a circle to put under here. And then I'll put a second one in here whenever I'm doing another blend, or a third. But I always have one in there. And then I put that on. And then I take a paper. We'll say this is parchment paper. I do this. And I make sure it's all the way to the bottom, but you can kind of get away with opening it a little bit. And if it's easier, I will take a computer paper or something like this. Let's imagine that the parchment paper's in there like this. And I'll make a funnel. I do it differently if I'm pressing it for myself, because I use different procedures for pressing it for other people. Like I got the gloves and all this stuff, and But I roll it corner to corner. So I can make a nice funnel and get tobacco in. And then when the parchment paper is done, we'll imagine it's still here because it's about that much. I'll cut off the top, fold down, kind of like, because it's in a circle like this, I'll fold down all the edges. Then I'll put this on and tighten it pretty good. I tighten it firmly. I don't over crank it because these can come loose. They'll fix back up, no problem. But I just tighten it pretty firm, leave it a few hours. Then about whenever I think about it, sometimes 3 times a day, sometimes once every couple days. It depends on how long I'm leaving it. If I'm going to press it for like 2 or 3 months, I'll come crank it about once every 2 days. Just come over, make sure whenever I think about it, I tighten it. At least 2 to 3 weeks, at least. Give it a press, leave it alone. Give it a press, leave it alone. If you do it slowly like that, it gives more time before it's totally a brick. You smash it down a little bit, and any oils that came loose get to rain down and absorb. You get to spread through the whole blend and reabsorb. Then when you tighten it again, it does it again and again and again. It's a much fuller flavor. So when you get to that last period of time, whether it's the last week or it's the last month or whatever, usually about the last fourth or third of the time is when I crank it down a lot more. Then when it's totally done and won't go anywhere anyway, I give it one more crank and leave it one more pretty good one and leave it for at least the last week or so, or a couple weeks. And then I take it out. And what you have, you'll get some of the paper crinkled on the edges, but you just take it apart carefully and it's not a big deal. And then They are a blast, and they're so easy. I do recommend 2 at least, so it's easier to get something going and leave it and still have another one open to mess with. Because if you really get into it, when you're sitting there, you're like, oh, now I gotta wait till this press is done. 2 or more is really handy. If you're not sure about it, just get one. You can always use PVC. You can make your own presses. But it's a good option to start with. And they're good anyway, no matter where you're at with it. And you can fill them way full, clear to the brim, and it'll press it down to like a third of the thing. I mean, you can pack it and you'll still have, but it'll be a substantial puck. And I'm telling you, man, some of the stuff you can get out of pressing tobacco will shock you. Like Haunted Bookshop is a perfect example. I was so grateful Hillbilly sent me that pressed because I like it more than Haunted Bookshop. It's the same thing, but it's just better for me. People, nobody's going to 100% agree on everything. Yeah, and you don't have to wait months, definitely. You can press it a week or 2 and try it. There will be a difference. Hey, Daniel, nice to have you, buddy. No worries. I'm glad you're here. Hey, that's a good way to be, though, Bob. A penny saved is a penny earned. And honestly, if you're not going to use it, I mean, you can even do it. You could even do a giveaway if you wanted. If you didn't want to send it back, people like them, man. You do a giveaway. No one's going to care if you used it a couple times or whatever. Just be upfront and say, hey, I've used this press. It's just not for me. I'm going to do something different. I want to do a giveaway. Yeah, and at least 1 week gives it enough time to be a nice, like you said, I'd say more of a cake than a plug because it's not as firm. But you can still crank it down and work on it each day for that week, and it still holds together nicely. And then when you pinch pieces off, they're easy to break apart anyway. Oh, there you go, Bob. Yeah, you can do it as long as you want. And you might have some blends. Well, what was the blend? Well, Mordor. Mordor doesn't take a long time. Haunted Bookshop, I think with a month, does it a lot more favor than pressing like Mordor would for a month, because Mordor is pretty set as it is. Oh, that's right. That's right. Cloudbear's got it. I couldn't remember. I appreciate that, bud. Yeah. Usually, that's right. Usually a plug is done specifically with different layers, and it's meant to be sliced so you get all of them the right way. Thank you, Cloudbear. I couldn't remember what I was forgetting about that. And once you mentioned Whole Leaf, it reminded me. Monclad Gansdam and Ariège Pipe Smoker make awesome plugs, guys. Absolutely wonderful. And there's Monclad. He knew it. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. I was just giving you a shout out for the awesome tobacco plugs you make. I was just going to tell everybody here, so I'll tell them anyway. Get in touch with him. If you want to try a good plug, I would recommend trying his Bosma plug if he's got it available. He ages them a long time, and they are wonderful. He knows what he's doing. He and Ariège Pipe Smoker make some of the best plugs I've ever had. They're fantastic. Oh, and RD. I'll be in touch with you. I do have to get some money saved up to get you some blends, but if I send you an email when I'm ready to get things built up for you, I'll be sure and remind me. I have that Grousemore match I'd like to send you. I should try that. I should try pressing that for a while and then just taking a small sample and seeing how it does. I bet that would be really good pressed. And almost every tobacco turns out really good pressed compared to not. And it depends on the ratio or the components, but most components will benefit. Yeah, I hope it's sooner. But it's just a matter of, it basically comes down to I got to make some more stems so I can get pipes sold and then I can get stuff sent out. And I need to give a great big thank you for all the support, everyone who's picked up an ABU pipe. It has really helped my mom out. It means a lot. It is not unthanked. I don't always remember to tell you thank you from her, but it means a lot. I would imagine having Rustica that Crazy Horse would actually benefit quite a bit being pressed. I haven't had the blend myself, but I know with Rustica, the oils, since that's already been pressed, can you imagine the oils of Rustica getting mixed into the rest? Woo! Oh, thank you, Bob. I do agree. I love the pipe socks she does. Thank you, Patrick. I also love those tampers, bud. I often am reaching for big tampers because I don't want a little one and then having tobacco come up around it. I just want a big one that's going to fit the pipe, and that those nail tampers like that fit most pipes really well. So I'm glad it's working for you, buddy. I'm glad you're using it and enjoying it. Have you tried removing carbon cake with it? Has that worked well for you? I'm always paranoid about those. I work really hard so that there's no edges that'll catch. Thank you, RD. And RD got, I love the pipe you got, RD. I still felt bad about the having to remove, because the crack that was in the wood, having to remove that much of the shank. But I really loved your pipe, man. I miss that pipe. It's got such a nice rustic look, man. I'm hoping to send out Joel's, if not by Tuesday, then Wednesday. I know Mabu's going to send something out probably Wednesday or Thursday for her sister. So we may just do it all on the same day. So whenever he gets his, you guys watch out for it. I won't post anything until it's done, because he doesn't want to see it until he gets it. I'm telling you guys, that's such a freaking awesome pipe. It is one of the most comfortable pipes I've ever made. It is ever held, period. Where your thumb rests, it feels good. The pipe shape, the stem shape, the bit, it's all like, it's deceptive because it looks big, but you hold it and it doesn't feel clunky or uncomfortable. And the stem, oh my goodness. So I'm very excited to get that to him, because that pipe, it's got a rustic look to it. It's got a unique look to it, but it's nothing crazy. It's like a straightforward, it stands, it's an excellent house pipe. It could be a clencher. He said he's going to mostly sip it, so I designed it to be more of a sipper. You could do more of a bend on the stem and clench it, because that stem shape is very comfortable. I've been messing with stem bits and trying different things on the side, so I could, because I'm always trying to improve. So it's all you can do. You always try to make everything better each try. Awesome, RD. I'm glad it's your favorite, buddy. But it's nice. It's not a real thick mouthpiece area for the stem. Thank you, Bob. Greg's pipe was a journey in just the most positive, wonderful way. It was challenging. It was simply complex. I don't know how to really word that. I guess it'd be the other way, but I don't know how to word that. Complicatedly simple. I don't know. He wanted it to look like Mount St. Helens, which it did. But to also look like a pipe, but not look exactly like a pipe. So it could be up on a shelf and go, that looks like a mountain. At the same time, it's a pipe. And so it was a challenge to work on it and then keep both of those looks without crossing a line. It was such a fine stinking margin, but it was a pleasure to do that pipe. It was a lot of work, and there was a lot of care in it. And if Greg sees this, I just want to say thank you, Greg, because I appreciate the support and the challenge. And it's funny because I never thought I'd be working on volcano pipes, but I seem to do pretty good with them. And so far, a lot of the pipes I've wanted to keep are how they turn out as a volcano. And I have another one that's done. I'm just going to downsize it more. The drilling is dead on again. So I'm going to be making some pipes available. Once I got Joel's done, I'm just taking a couple days to just reset, take a couple days off, catch up on rest. The colitis flare-up did not help. And that gave me a couple days off, but I said, man, I have to get this done. And Joel's pipe didn't take a long time, really. Yeah, I think a couple of weeks. I think we're about week 3. But I didn't have a lot of long days. Thank you, Paul. And I appreciate your support, man. But it's just some stems. I'm just waiting. I figured out some different things with the tenon so that I can have Delrin. So sometimes with Delrin, you go in a certain distance based on the diameter of the Delrin. You go in a certain distance in the stem, and you have the rest for the pipe. And for where I'm located, I had to change that to make sure it will hold well for the remainder. or the duration. That's the word for the long haul. So messing around with those, Joel's pipe helped a lot. It was a lot of learning for a few tenons up to that one. So it was great practice, because then when it came to his, I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I'm doing, and it fits so dang good. Well, they're better. They're better in a couple ways. Now, the only drawback with Delrin is if you drop a pipe, the shock is going to be absorbed into the shank. So you're more likely with a Delrin to break the pipe versus the stem. Delrin helps because it's smooth, it's the right size all the way, and it saves countless hours on the integral tenon. The integral tenons take, if I start to finish, the best it goes on the stem, if there's no bending, if it's just, it's around 5 or 6 hours of just nonstop work. So it takes a few days, because I can't put in tons of time usually in the shop. Some days I get lucky, I can put in a good amount of time. But especially when I had the flare up last week, man, just sanding hurt. Like I was buffing Joel's stem, and just standing there, just doing that, I was so uncomfortable. So when I finished it and it turned out great, I'm like, okay, it's time to go inside and sit down. But I try to do what Phil does. Phil says, 6 to 8 weeks for a pipe, but it usually doesn't take that long. I ask for up to 10 weeks, but it doesn't usually take that long. It's usually 3 or 4, sometimes less. But I never know how a day's going to go with epilepsy or with colitis. I never know. So I might be out there half an hour one day. I might be out there 4 hours another day. And one day that I'm out there might not be a day that I can do certain work that needs done on a pipe. But I do put my focus on, commissions get the first attention, of course. So I do have a bunch of stems to get done with. And now that I've figured out exactly how I'm going to do Delrin, it's made a big difference. And you can do, if you do it right, if I do it right, if everything works out perfectly, I can have the tenon part of the stem done sometimes in 15 minutes or less. And that's if I'm really on the ball. 5 minutes was the fastest. But then you do have to give it a day or two to set, which gives you time to do other things. And so it's pretty good, because you can make sure the tenon's going to be right and have all the drilling done anyway, which gives you time to stain. So by the time you're letting the tenon set, you can stain the pipe, and over a couple of days, it's all ready. But the rest of the work, all together takes a while, but each thing is taking less time. The longest on a stem is now the mouthpiece, and I'm getting better with that. And the rest is the pipe work, and that's its own thing. Sometimes pipes go fast, you can get them done in a day. And sometimes they go where it takes a week or two. Just depends on the block. One block a volcano I'm working on now is so difficult to shape or to bring down in size, because the entire block is particularly hard for Briar. Sometimes you get a pipe where one half is hard and one side is soft. So as you're using the spindle sander, you got to gauge how it is, and you might start leaving a groove somewhere and get stuck, and you got to go over it and fix it. Where the other side, you could sand all day and not get an 1/8 of an inch off. Captain Kirk, great to see you, buddy. It is 10:35 p.m. here, or 12:35 a.m. Sunday, Eastern time. Oh, nice. Yeah, I do hope to plant some fairly soon. I gotta wait till the right season. But I do have rustica seeds. Also, Cloud Bear, if you're interested, feel free to Instagram me. It's all Briar'd up. There's no apostrophe after the R. It's just all lowercase, all underscore Briar'd underscore up. Let me know if you're interested. Maybe we could work out a trade. I'd love to try Crazy Horse, and maybe we could figure something out. So let me know, buddy. Sunday for Captain Kirk. Nice. Nice. I've been doing that, destemming and getting into nice strips and then putting them in a jar and just leaving them, like you said, for when I'm going to do plugs or any other blends. I've got some that are really good. Oh, do you? Oh, look. You probably do. Man, my mind is everywhere, you know. Yeah, I guess you do, bud, don't you? Yeah, we do message all the time. See? Got that geezer syndrome kicking in now. Son of a gun, bud. You do. We just messaged the other day, didn't we? Stinking nonsense. Yeah, I see your hello. I told you I'll forget stuff. I tell people don't take it personally because that's how my brain is, man, you know. I ask you not to show this to anybody because I'm waiting till the person gets the pipe, but I went ahead and sent you the pictures of Joel's pipe. I agree, Patrick. 35, and I'm tell you, man, I do blame epilepsy because it interrupts thoughts constantly. All right, Paul. Hey, thank you for your live. By the way, guys, if you haven't subbed to Papa Bear's Nook, please do. We need to get his numbers up. Spread the word. Well, you have a great night. Tell Bridget good night for all of us, and of course, Jacob. You know what's funny, Paul? If you're still here, even if you're not, I'll still tell you because these guys will get to hear it. When my it's my cousin, yeah, so it'd be my nephew. He doesn't live close. I always forget. When my cousin was going to have a little boy, she was asking us for ideas for names, and Jacob was the name that I sent her for an idea. And she didn't go with it, but I sent her that one. What was the name? What's the name I sent? I sent her a few names. I can't remember. Thank you, Cloud Bear. I appreciate that, bud. That thing is so stinking comfortable, it's not even fair. I want to keep it. But it's for Joel in Canada. I really hope it arrives there. I will wrap the heck out of it. But I've had luck exactly 50-50. So I'm very nervous when it comes to out of the US shipping. Always nervous. It's 50-50. Whether it's that's really exactly it. That's exactly it, Patrick. I would never think of some of these types of pipes to make for myself. And oftentimes if I'm in the shop, I'm either using my bent billiard that's unfinished. I've got an unfinished bulldog that I should finish because it's really pretty as it is. So it'd be amazing finished. I just don't finish a lot of the ones I keep because I get to a point and I'm like, that looks good. I'm going to definitely keep this. So forget it. I want to smoke it. So I'm impatient. When it gets to a point, I'm like, I really want that kind of pipe. I'm going to keep it. Then I'm just ready. I make a stem and use it. Oh, yep. Good advice. I always do. I do appreciate the advice because if I didn't know that, it is important to know. I wrap the heck out of the stem separately. I put the pipe in a bag for extra cushion in its own pipe pouch. I wrap the tamper separately. I put a lot of packaging. You could probably throw it anything short of a truck running over it, which it might survive anyway. I package the heck out of it. Yeah, I've never had any of mine arrive anywhere broken either. Thank goodness. Knock on wood. I did get some stems that looked like someone ran them over. But that was settled. That was not anybody's fault other than how it was between where it was sent from and where it got to. Yeah. Yeah. Have any of you guys had that luck as well, other than just Cloud Bear? They really, with the States, I always want to ask the people that sent them, like, don't you know how to package stuff? I haven't had them broken on arrival, but the packaging was scarce. I'm like, you guys are gambling here. Mine weren't packaged well. Like any estates that came here were not packaged well. Except, well, I take that back. 3 estates that I got from eBay, 2 of them were not packaged well. 1 was packaged well. Oh, nice, Bob. Ooh, that is scary, man. While I'm applying Jeff's to Cloudbeard. I'm always skeptical when you see the pictures from estate pipes because they're going to do what most photographers do, taking pictures of the product. They're going to make it look good. And I missed, it was a century old, I think it was called. And I sent it to Kilted Piper Steve after I had cleaned it. And he did some some rework to it. I sent him a bunch of backies for the work, and he did a great job. Fixed a lot of issues with it, but I couldn't believe the cake in that. You couldn't have fit just a plain nail down it. Oh, I'm speaking of nails. Yeah, somebody asked where I got the nails for the tampers. They're actually from here. They've been either, some of them are newer. I think the newest is 30 years that they've been in a shop, but a lot of the nails and stuff I've used have been around 100 plus years. They've either been from fence posts that have been around that long, or they've been nails that were in fence posts, or they've been like the steel posts. They've been around a long time. So the tampers you guys receive are from farmland that's been around for over 100 years. We've had ancestors homestead not real far from here, within a few hours, in the 1800s. So a lot of those nails are really old. Or I might go walk on our place, and this place is over 100 years. Our house is 100 years old, other than this room. But everything else is at least 100 years. The fence posts have been there long before the guy bought this place and put a house up, the initial person. Smarty Bob, you have a great night, brother. Thank you for being here, bud. I always appreciate seeing you. Thanks for pulling a late nighter with us. Always a pleasure, man. You're welcome here anytime. So thank you. I hope you continue to do well, and your health stays good, bud. Oh, I hadn't heard of Redeemed. I have heard of Bishop. I need to check them out at some point. I have the pipe maker's bug now, so every time I see a pipe, I'm like, I could make that. And then I challenge myself to it. I am going to have to order more Briar'd fairly soon. So I just need to finish a bunch of stems and some stains and make some pipes available. But a lot of them are just stems and they'll be available. The elephant's foot is available. The umpal is available. The Zulu's available. There's a bunch. That Zulu's fantastic. The Dublin's available. I've got a poker pipe. Well, sort of, yeah, it's a poker pipe. It's kind of a shop pipe. It's not perfect. I guess it'd be like a second, but it's drilled fine. There's no problems with it. I did have an inclusion near the rim, so I had to work around that. And I didn't want to take more off of it. So I worked around it. It's not like a perfect circle, but it would be, less of a cost for people picking it up. But once they're done, then I can put them available and show them with the stem. But I've got some gorgeous stems in the works. I didn't finish the purple one yet. I'm deciding what pipe that's going to go to. I think the Zulu. But it's gorgeous. That purple stem is awesome. It's so close to finished. I should just get out there and finish it tomorrow. We'll see. I don't even know what I'll have for time tomorrow. Great grandpa's pipe. Cleaned by J Mouton. It was plain filthy. Nice now. Awesome, RD. Yeah, Cane Rod, J Mouton, Kilted Piper Steve all do great cleaning jobs. If you need any repair work, Cane Rod's very good at it. I'm sure Jay is. I just can't confirm it. I haven't I've never asked him about it or looked into it. But as far as cleaning goes, Kilted Piper Steve or Beowulf now um, does a stellar job at cleaning. Oh, I'm glad you said that, Patrick. You always got my back, buddy. Good looking out there. Yeah, that's right. I do remember him saying that. Forgot about that. I always try to support and get it out to people. Um, so I did forget that. But as far as cleaning goes, Cloud Bear is fantastic. So is Beowulf because I said the wrong name. Oh, awesome, Kirk. When is International Pipe Smoking Day? I don't remember which day that is right now. If that's on a day I can be in the shop, then I will. February 20th. Thank you. I know that's coming up right around the corner. Yeah. It's already the 4th. My goodness. Well, the 5th almost. I'll see if I can get a pipe for it and wood burn something special on there. Just make a nice special edition kind of pipe. The high desert. Oh, that's awesome, Patrick. The more the merrier, man. That's cool. I always like when people are able to come from everywhere or a lot of different places. Makes it so much better. I hope to be at a pipe show coming up, but I just don't know. I can't do planes, and most of them are far enough away. You should take a plane. Don't have the money to do a long drive to one and stay in places. I just don't. That's just how it is. But I hope to. I'd like to next year. Thank you, Patrick. Is there a shape you guys don't see often that you would like to see a special edition pipe for 2023 International Pipe Smoking Day? I've thought about a train. I'd love to do that. We'll have to see how well that goes. Mabu is very sensitive to certain motion. She's getting motion sickness riding in the back of a vehicle. So I don't know. I'd love to do a train trip somewhere. Panel. So at least something paneled. Okay. February 20th. Oh, Mabu gets motion sickness. Mrs. All Briar'd up. A paneled Lavat. I could do a Lavat. I might try to do like a 5 or 6 sided one. Because if you do the 4, you can make them look really good, but it's so easy for me anyway. It's so easy for me to look at a pipe and see and to pick out where it still kind of resembles the block. And sometimes you still want that depending on the shape or if it's a commission. Sometimes you do, because you can only do so much depending on the size of the briar. But I'd like to do a 5 or 6 sided panel. That way it's definitely easy to tell it's a panel. Because I'll nitpick on pipes. I'll do it to my own more than any other pipe. I'll look at them and I'll go, does that look like the block still? Or do I need to take more off? I could try an 8-sided panel. I can do that. So it automatically would have to have a fairly small shank, but that'd be okay. That's doable. I do have some pretty wide pieces. So I might be able to get away with quite a bit on one. I'd probably do, I'll have to look at the blocks. I think I've got some that would suit a medium size, like average size pipe. I don't think I'd do it in a small. But then again, it depends. If I get out there and I'm looking through blocks and there's, I'll take out options for small, medium, and large. And then maybe even start working on one of each size. That'd be cool. Large ones you can get away with a lot with the height. That's why you see it. I think that's why you see a lot of chimney pipes. Because there isn't a lot with width until you get into really expensive blocks. Even then, it's not a guarantee. But I'd like to do an 8 panel. That'd be cool. And that'd be doable. Other than the shank, you'd have a little bit of a limit where when it comes down from here to the shank, where you'd have a panel and then it would have to go into parts of the other panels. Oh, I'll have to look that up. That's nice. Be a good option. I mean, I'm sure I could Google it and just get ideas how to go about it and see what it does, what it leaves for me for options for shanks. I don't like to do like really thin shanks. Now I'm more able to do them with the tools and the experience I have. But I always think durability. So we'll see. We'll see. I've gotten my shanks much more under control now. The hardest one I'm working on is I've got a Dublin that turned out amazing in one day. Just shaping it turned out amazing. The difficulty is the hard spot is on the top of the shank. So trying to sand that down and just keep it perfectly flowing is a bit of a challenge. Because it just takes forever to sand. So you're sitting there past the point of being able to really use the spindle sander. I don't want to take a Dremel to it because you always end up with the Dremel that you're going to sand more when you're done. So it's easy. It's a lot of work to use the Dremel and then go, okay, I got to keep in mind I'm going to take off another at least 1/16 of an inch to get rid of the Dremel marks. Yeah. Nice, RD. Yeah, it is somewhat of a panel. It is. I remember because at the time I did your pipe, that was the best block I had for it. I did not. Now that was a couple block orders back, but your pipe turned out cool, man. It turned out cool. The panels turned out really good. The rustic look on it turned out really good. I was so happy with that pipe. So I'm glad you are as well. Oh, and I'm smoking my OMS Dublin. I don't think I told you guys. I did do a similar style pipe It went to Hillbilly. It had black rusticated, and then it had the red smooth bands around it. That was a comfortable as heck pipe too. That was awesome. I like this rustication. So this is one I'll probably do on some other pipes. But the way it's turned out, the lines are finer. So it has this almost elusive smoothness to it. You can kind of feel the rustication still, but it still has a smooth, it's nice. It turned out really well. That one was the most I've worked on as far as rusticating. I like to play around with pipes and do like intentional marks. It's hard to do because you want any sand marks you leave, you want to be intentional. If you don't want to leave sand marks, you really want to make sure you don't leave sand marks. But the intentional placement of them can look really cool on a pipe. Yeah, I'd like to do pencil shank at some point. I am getting to where I'm getting some smaller pipes. The smaller, I think it's the smaller Dublin that I have to bring the shank down, but that's a beautiful Dublin. At some point, we will have our website done. I know my brother's been trying to find time to help my mom out with that. And then at some point, fairly soon, we'll have an SV Creations Facebook channel or page. So that's in the fairly near future. I'll have to set that up, but it's a whole lot of think work, and that's something that I have trouble with when it comes down to reading and creating things with words and passwords and all that stuff. I overdo it, but it's just a lot of sit down think work, and that wears me out so fast. From Unar, his take on a hawkbill, which is amazing, with a purple stem. Nice, nice. Yeah, there aren't very many. I mean, you can find them, purple stem ones. There aren't a ton that I've seen done recently. And I'm trying, that's been an inspiration for me, is to look through all sorts of colors that I would like to see on pipes that I don't. There are so many different colors and stem material available to pipe makers that really make a pipe go, oh my, you're looking at them, you're like, wow, that is really cool. The one that I'm doing on the elephant's foot is yellow and black and has a different shape to it than most of them I do. The hardest part with that is how I'm going to bend it. But it fits really nicely. It's perfect where it needs to be. So it just needs to be finished sanding and shaping and buffing and that kind of stuff. So that's got about, I figure each stem is about a day to 3 days. Now with the integral tenons, it's still about that, but it's less of the sanding of the tenon, which is nice. I don't mind doing integrals because I like them. They both have their positives. I like integral stems because then people know if they drop it and the stem breaks, it can be replaced easier. Oh, good to know. Yeah, DHL is really good. I've noticed that too. I think I've only had 2 things through DHL, and it has been fast. It's a little bit longer, but it's not much. It's usually about 4 to 5 days. But I have received a couple of things. Well, I received a stem order within 2 days. So that was really good. Vermont Freehand's done that sometimes where they're really quick. Now, pipes and cigars is funny because I always keep in mind, right when COVID was hitting or right before, right in the early stages, mailing was getting a little funky anyway. And the longest I waited for an order from them was 3 weeks. Usually I figure about two. I've gotten stuff from Pipes and Cigars quicker than that, and I've gotten stuff usually around 2 weeks. Sometimes they get a package to me, and then they might get the rest of it, like the last order. Mabu ordered some, and I got one box I ordered and one box that she ordered. And so when they got here, they all had everything billed out. And then I got a box later on. I was like, well, cool. I got your box first. That was the better box anyway. I had most of the stuff I was looking for right away. And the next one was like another couple weeks later. So it was pretty late, but they did pretty good. I don't personally have anything against Pipes and Cigars. I know a lot of guys have some grief with them. I know their customer service can leave a little wanting for people. But excuse me, they've treated me well. There was an order that went a little off and they made it right. It's slow, but it's been accurate. So I don't have any complaints other than if I'm looking for blends to make to send somebody, then yeah, waiting longer. I'm like, come on. But then I just kill time by working on pipes or doing something. It is slow though. It is slow. Vermont freehand's pretty good. I think the longest it took was a week and a couple days, and that included the weekend. Exotic Blanks is really, really good. Yeah, there you go, Patrick. 2 chipped jars. Do you mean like those, like the ceramic ones to store tobacco in? I have a McBaron one I put my oldest aged Maduro Cavendish in, and it was funny because if you ordered a pound of something, then for 10 cents more, you got the jar. Whereas if you just ordered the pound anyway, then you'd have to order the jar 20, 25, 30, whatever the amount would be. I was like, that's only a 10-cent difference. So my jar cost 10 cents on whatever deal they had. I was like, okay, I have to jump on that because I've always wanted one of those. I didn't have any issues on mine. I'm sorry they're chipped though. That bites. And you reached out to them. I'd keep bugging them, man. But I do understand. I'm sure you've done a good amount of bugging them to hear from them. I'd just keep bugging them. I wouldn't leave them alone. I'd send them an email every damn day for like 6 months. So it'd be the top email of the page no matter what. Be, hey man, by the way, these jars are chipped. I want replacements. Especially if you ordered them and they were more than 10 cents. If I got my 10-cent one, it was chipped, I'd say, well, it's 10 cents, whatever. But if you're paying more than $10 for them, then yeah, that's worth your time. They need to replace that crap. And it's not hard anymore to send things to people, just to return them. Returns are easy now. It's not a big chore. So it's very annoying that they're not working with you. Because it's going to cost you anyway. You'd have to ship, You just painted them and, well, and if they work, that's the biggest thing is if they still work. I'm not too picky on things unless they're for show. I'm more picky. But like when it comes to my pipes, it's interesting all the steps you go through. So for me, I start the initial shaping, just the rough shape. I just go a certain distance when I decide where I'm going to exactly have the chamber. Then everything's usually squared up and I drill it. Now, for example, on Joel's pipe, I kept the slanted plateau. That was hard to drill. So I did do more of the shaping that I do on most pipes. I figured out where I wanted the drilling to be, and I did the chamber. Now, I've tried doing the chamber first and the shank, and I'm still working on that. I've had okay luck. A pipe out of 3 turned out perfectly. The other 2, I did have to drill deeper than I wanted, but it didn't compromise anything. I just wanted a little more depth on the bottom, just out of paranoia. But it's still fine. They're still good. They aren't going to burn out. But I just personally prefer to have a little more thickness on the bottom of the pipe. And so I end up doing much better when I do the chamber first. And then when I'm hand drilling in the mortise and doing all that stuff, I just do so much better. We did drilling with the lathe on the stem. And I think I loosened it too much. When you loosen it too much, that little bit can sag. I think that's what the issue was. And I did have a bit that needed replaced. I didn't know it at the time either. But I'm not going to blame the lathe. But then when I took it off the lathe and I redid the stem just by hand, it was spot on. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go back to by hand with the drilling. So I have much better luck now than I ever did doing other things, trying other things. Hand drilling works for me. So if I do the chamber first and the mortise and the draft hole, hand drilled, it's usually within a 1/16 of an inch. Sometimes it's dead on. Sometimes it's within a 32nd or less, a 64th. I mean, sometimes it's right there. Yeah, user error is true. I think it was more user error. I don't think it was entirely the lathe, and I'm not going to blame the lathe. But I think for some reason I'm able to work with. It's kind of like if you have a cup of water. If you understand how water moves, you can run with a pretty full cup of water and not spill it. If you focus more on your elbow and you follow the motion of the water, you can do all sorts of things and not spill it. Good night, RD. I guess I'll go. Thank you for being here, brother. I appreciate your time. Hope you have a great time tomorrow. If you guys get a chance, please check out Recovering Know-It-All at 9 a.m. Eastern. If I'm up, I will be there. It is always a good time. He does a really nice job. It feels like church done right for me. He does a great job. But thank you for being here, man. I appreciate you. And I'll be in touch with you when I can get things to you, and we'll get a box put together and everything will be golden. And you're exactly right, Patrick. You learn from your mistakes. Oh, nice. I'll try to be. Mornings are the worst for me. It's pretty rare if I can be up at 7 and doing okay enough to look at a screen. That's pretty dang rare. But every time I am available and I can be there, I will be. Steve and Kathy will have their live tomorrow, I'm sure, too. I hope anyway. Theirs is always fun as well. But so I can try to be there, I am going to go ahead and say goodnight to you fellas. Thank you all for your time and your participation. I've enjoyed it greatly. I actually didn't smoke any tobaccos that weren't a cigar in this live, which is totally out of the ordinary, but I miss those cigars, so I've got plenty more of those that I can load into a pipe and smoke. I might do that. Monday, I'll be back in the shop, and I'll get some things ready. I'll get Joel's pipe packaged up, get his box ready. I'll do some blending tomorrow because I can still do that while people are visiting. They always get a kick out of it. They come here and they're like, he does pipes and tobacco, so they'll sit and watch. Yeah, that's exactly right, Patrick. And thank you. Be sure and check out Papa Bear's Nook if you guys haven't. Give him a sub and show some support for the morning prayer with Recovering Know It All. You know, even if religion's touchy, um, at least show some support. Jump in there, give him a like, say hi. You know, say I'm passing through, just wanted to say hi or something. It does mean a lot. I've been that way where people don't have much time for a live, or maybe they're not into the subject and they jump on and go, "Hey, can't stay, just wanted to say hi." It makes you feel good. Even if it's for a second, it really does make a difference. So show the support you can. Even if you're not interested in the topic, you know, if you know the person and they're a good person, it's okay to show the support anyway. Yeah, I thought I might. I thought I might, Daniel, but I'm just getting tired. And I don't want to push it because then if I don't suffer later in the middle of the night, I'll suffer in the morning. So, but thank you guys. Yes, when life gets rough around the edges, grab a pipe, light it up, jump on here, and we'll get all Briar'd up together. Guys, take good care. All the best to you from me and Mabu. And you'll have to ask her next time. Be sure and ask her, Patrick, or at least in the Google Meet Tuesday, because that's earlier and she'll be awake. She goes, "Am I getting old? Because I'm ready for bed." And she said, "I want to stay up late and be there and do everything with you." And she goes, she does this nighttime yawn. It used to be at 11 o'clock. She does two yawns. She does a yawn at like 9 something, 9:30 ish, and then at 11, this specific way she does a yawn, and it's like, okay, that's her bedtime yawn. Like now I'm way tired. It's time. I'm getting there. And she did that today at 9:40, and she's like, that's the bedtime one. And she never admits that, so it was pretty cool. But thank you. I'll let her know. But ask her about the stove. I'll try to have her pop in Tuesday, or at least talk where you can hear her. But she does. She really works hard. She takes care of people. She volunteers, looks after her folks, takes care of me, helps babysit the neighbor kids, does a lot of housework, busts her rear end. She's a hell of a woman. So you're right. If she needs to sleep, it's time. But take good care. God bless you guys. Be safe. Be well. Be happy. Take time for yourself. It's okay to be selfish every once in a while. So good deal, Patrick. Don't forget it, because she'll set it straight. But thank you guys. Be safe.